Welcome. This is another video, but this isn't brought to you by the ex-officer Brandon Tatum. This is brought to you by Anthony Andrew Seward. I don't care if you like, share, hit the like, subscribe button. Let's get into this. I am so sick and tired of this clown. When he goes to speak, he speak with the attitude that all black folks are victims. All black folks are ignorant. All black folks don't seem to be a contribution to society. He picks a particular demographic to want to criticize and then use them to define the whole entire black race or the whole entire black community. And then people that follow him, that entertains that echo chamber of his, fall for that nonsense rhetoric that he spews. And then people have a lack of understanding as to why other people with sound mind that actually can think for themselves and ain't always jumping on bandwagons, whether it's people that's criticizing black folks or people making generalizations in other areas and stuff, want to speak for black people or want to try to say what all black people are thinking or how they view things of sorts. I mean, seriously? I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the things that Brandon Tatum points out has a hint of validation to it. Are there some ignorance within the black community? Yes, there are. Are there ignorance in other race communities such as whites, Hispanics, Asians, or whatever? Yes, they are. YouTube brings you down that rabbit hole where you can see other areas that the media doesn't put the spotlight on. It's everyday people that does that particular work that the media doesn't. So when you have interactions with people on a daily basis throughout this whole country, it tells a different narrative than what the fucking closed-minded, narrow perception of what we are used to being conditioned to just be subjected to. You know? But I found myself entertaining, I guess, one of his followers in his comment section, and they wanted to point out how, why is it that other races who have been oppressed seem to thrive and black people don't? Well, to further elaborate, if you know anything about this history of this country, there were laws that were made and created that prevented black people from becoming a part of this society. Period. There were laws and rules and policies put in place where we couldn't get ahead for some time in this country. We had to fight and break down barriers and things of that nature so that we can have some equal standing on the playing field. And that came with a lot of sacrifices of the people who paved the way for us to have the opportunities that we have today. And other people coming in on the aftermath, on the afterburner, are benefiting from that. But people don't want to acknowledge that shit. They just want to jump on a bandwagon to just criticize black people. And that's a bunch of bullshit. Because the black people are doing so fucking bad, as I pointed out as the examples that Officer Brandon Tatum failed to acknowledge, that there are people who are students that are attending the HBCU colleges, okay? There are people who are college professors, there are teachers, there are principals, there are deans, the alumni, okay? On to another portion of assets in the black community. There are people who are nurses, doctors, scientists, orderlies, EMTs. You have firefighters, you have law enforcement, you have judges, you have bailiffs, you have prosecutors, you have lawyers, COs. Go to another. You have people who are farmers. You have people that are entrepreneurs that start their own businesses. They employ other black people. Okay? And you have people that are, I said farmers, right? You have people that are blue collar workers, that work in factories and stuff. You got people, okay, it may be not the most promising um thing to aspire to, but a job is a job. So if you're working in a fast food restaurant or restaurants in general or bars or convenience stores or gas stations, I mean, at least you're not of the criminal element, you know? Um but it seemed like those examples seem to be ignored. The only thing that Brandon Tatum seemed to focus on are the people that are I guess the negative part of the society of black folks that he just wants to pinpoint and only focus on. As if there ain't other races that have fucking criminal elements in their own community. I mean, damn. And when I talk about balancing the scales, it's like we're under this illusion that everybody else is kumbaya and we're the only group of people that are fucked. Which is bullshit and it's nonsense. And how people fucking entertain that rhetoric is beyond my comprehension as to why people sit there and believe that bullshit. I don't get it. And then people want to talk about, well, black people always talk about racism and stuff like that. In some areas in this fucking country, there are still those people who treat black people like they ain't shit. I'm sorry to tell you that, but those people do fucking exist. Now, whether you want to turn a blind eye to that situation and pretend that everything's all kumbaya, then you live in your own fucking fantasy land. Are there black people that are fucking thugs and gangsters and do some fucked up shit? Yes, there are those type of people in the black community too. And for those that believe that, oh no, don't, whatever, they don't exist, well, you're just as dumb as the motherfuckers who don't believe that racist motherfuckers don't exist either. And then people want to talk about, well, how does the other people thrive and black people don't? Well, depend on what you're looking at. Because there are people that can come over here and get fucking grants to start a business 7 years tax free. You don't have to pay taxes and shit like us Americans have to do. That perk of getting the grants to start your own business is something that us Americans aren't entitled to. As these people coming over here, whether they're Nigerian, Indian, Asian, or whatever, and how they do it, there's some examples of how they do it. There's a small group of them. They get probably like a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. They'll pile into that shit, work 24 hours a day or whatever, put all their money together. Most of them send their money back home. They don't put it back into the economy. They send the shit back home where they are poor. But with the American dollar and the amount that they're getting and they're putting that money together, they send it back home and they go back home rich, basically. And for the ones that do come here, some people run scams. Don't get me started on the shit that when I lived in Houston, with some of the people that were in the medical field, you go and hit a lick, go to a doctor and shit, they'll fucking see you, give you your diagnosis, write you out a prescription, then you go to some bootleg pharmacy, get that prescription, and boom. Now there's the reason why you got pills out on the street. Or the insurance fraud. When you got people getting these motorized wheelchairs and stuff, and they're getting them for $300 and shit, but they're charging the insurance company $900 to $1,000 for that same chair that they purchased for $300. You want to talk some real shit? We can go there. How I know? Because I seen what was going on. I interacted with some of these elements. Truth be told. So when I go to speak about something, it's not all by hearsay. Some of these things in my 44 years of living, I've been exposed to. I've journeyed outside the particular demographics. Growing up in Connecticut, living in fucking Houston, now residing in Dixon, Illinois. I've seen some shit. My sister could probably tell you more since she's been in the military and done more traveling than I have. When people want to sit there and talk about truth and shit, they don't want to hear the truth. They just want to hear how should I say, what pleases them, what makes them feel comfortable. Sometimes the truth can't be sugarcoated. And some people are in fucking denial about a lot of shit. Yeah, I'm triggered. Because sometimes when I'm having a debate with somebody, it's like you hear the ignorance and then they want to be so fucking condescending. Like, you want to talk about, like, okay, this one guy was talking about how's it that Indians are, which I'm call it, how can they make more than a white person or whatever? And I was like, okay, well, I don't know about what Indians you're talking about, but he was talking about the Hindu and the Sikh or whatever, however you pronounce it, whatever. And I was like, I don't know. Well, most of them are educated. Now I looked it up. Most of them are educated. And like I said, they combine their wealth together, and then they work as a unit, you know. Or like I said, some of them are granted the grants where they can build a business and then build on their businesses, making franchises and stuff like that. But how often were black people denied loans and stuff? How often were black people denied grants and stuff here in America? I'm not talking about these motherfuckers coming over now. I'm talking about back then. Then you want to talk about success? We had a Black Wall Street in Tulsa. That shit got fucked off, bombed by the government. But people want to talk to me about some bullshit about other races and stuff like that. How come they're so successful and shit? Yeah, but is every person in that particular race successful, or are there poor people as well in that category of race that you're pointing out as examples and shit? Because I'm sure not every Asian, not every fucking Indian, and whoever else you wanted to throw up in the mix to use that as an example are fucking rich. I'm sure there are some poor people in them areas as well. And not every black person is looking for a fucking handout, and not every black person is a fucking victim. Most black people stand on their own fucking 2 feet and work their way through whatever circumstances, what have you, that's thrown their way. And hey, if you have a right or feel that you need to fucking express some of the frustration and shit, by all means, people out have that right to feel frustrated and voice their frustration. Who the fuck are you to sit there and criticize somebody for being frustrated? Not everybody acts accordingly to how everybody else fucking acts. Maybe you should have some understanding instead of being fucking judgmental. Anyway, fuck, it's time that I fucking get some sleep. I'm fucking tired. I was entertaining nonsense. But until next time, until next video, it is what it is. Peace.